I'm Jay, I'm 28. I come from Kent originally, but I live in Basingstoke now. I started trading about 8 or 9 years ago, roughly. I've only made a loss 1 year so far, so I'm pretty happy and I kind of want to keep it that way. When I first started trading with £2,000. That's it. I looked at inflation rates and thought that I could do better than a bank account, effectively. I started trading shortly after the financial crisis, so I guess that kind of inspired me to start looking after my own money rather than allowing the banks to do it. I think eToro is a very different experience to using any other trading platform. Most platforms are quite solitary. You don't really interact with very many people, whereas eToro really focuses on making sure that people can communicate with each other and see what each other are doing and check each other's profiles, see who's invested in what, how much of the market is buying and selling at one time. I think my favorite assets to trade are probably quite clear to anyone who's looked at my profile on there, which is cryptocurrencies. I absolutely love cryptocurrencies. I trust trading cryptocurrencies on eToro a lot more than I do outside of eToro or anywhere else. They're very volatile and there are a lot less investors, traditional investors in the space. So it moves quite differently to a lot of other instruments in some ways. It can be quite unpredictable, but there's so much fundamentals that you can learn about it. There's no real, big news source for it, so it's really about going out there and doing the investigation yourself, and I think that gives me an advantage. I aim to try and hit 5% profit each month, minimum. I think long term, it's about trying to spot large moves in how technology works and how it applies to the public and which companies are really innovating. I only really invest in things that I think are going to go up in the long term as well. So even if it does dip in the short term, it just turns into a long-term position instead of a short-term position. Being one of eToro's top traders is a really surreal feeling. I never expected to get, to the top 10 or even the top 100 was kind of my goal. I like to think that I provide a lot of content, a lot of materials to help other traders improve. I really try and explain all of my positions and why I've taken. I think one of the best things that eToro has done is really enable people who would never even consider trading to actually take it up and to start looking at managing their own wealth themselves, or even with other popular investors. A lot of my friends are the kind of people who work in a warehouse and have no idea how markets work. And that doesn't matter on eToro because you can just find someone else that does.